I would hear Grandpa howling. He would yell at my uncles, he would yell at my mother, but even when I was caught eavesdropping in the hallway, he would never yell at me. When I was 7, Grandpa was a skeleton lying in a hospital bed with cirrhosis of the liver. Eyes and cheeks sunken deep into his skull, his ample belly had filled with blood and burst like an overripe grape. My uncle sat by his bedside every night. Grandpa wanted to be taken off life support. When my uncle refused him, Grandpa balled his sharp, thin fingers into a fist. The emaciated arm flew off the bed and blackened my uncle's eye. After the funeral, the late-night conversations echoed down the hallway. The story of a good, clever Catholic who learned how to lure death with gallons of cheap wine and value packs of Marlboros, thus getting the ending he wanted without the eternal damnation. This one is called Visiting Grandfather. She takes photographs when her eyes are wet. She captures glistening granite islands in a sea of sagebrush that might someday strive for blades of grass. The wind whips our hair into our faces. The American flag can't stop slapping against itself. I have all my misgivings as if we were visiting a hospital. The quiet is the moment before the needle enters the skin. Everything too new, too clean, this veteran cemetery built just last year can't be expected to house all this history. We go to the visitors center to cross-reference the plot number, but still end up browsing through aisles and aisles of names and dates. Neither of us expected he would be this hard to find. Did we think he would still be larger than life? We are waiting for a sweaty, discolored Oakland A's baseball cap to rise up from the sharply cut granite like a green balloon to guide us. We're like bloodhounds sniffing for the heavy, slow smell of old pipe tobacco. We would even settle for the smallest glimpse in our peripheral vision of strong, calloused hands guiding tanned leather beneath the sewing machine. I find the stone first, and when I do, I almost walk past it. My mother aims a camera at the headstone and snaps the flash again and again. She wants to become a tourist with dry cheeks. So I'm going to read a couple of new poems. This one's called Most Miserable City. And it's in honor of Stockton, California, which had the prestigious honor of being ranked #1 on the Forbes list of America's most miserable cities in the year of 2011. So, in honor of Stockton. Sure, we kids were always planning to escape you, but didn't we have some good times while we were waiting? On summer nights, we would lay ourselves out across the grass, snakes in the city parks, making out with each other, watching the stars till they vanished into the morning. The gangs were on the other side of town, the homeless tucked into their doorways for the night. You were our city. We despised you affectionately. We never dreamed you'd hurt us. We loitered in the bowling alley parking lots, wandered the malls indignant at being eyed like criminals, pocketed the occasional clip-on hairpiece or glittery lip balm, spent hours in movie theaters, paying matinee prices, moving from screen to screen like points on a pilgrimage, while the ushers, recognizing the advanced stages of ennui and sympathetic to our condition, turned a blind eye. We descended like locusts on empty houses while the single mothers were at work. We emptied refrigerators, cupboards, freezers, always hungry for more. And then my last one is called The Lost Art of Salmon Fishing on the San Joaquin. And the opening quote is, "There were enough cobs in the county to have depleted all the salmon in the river," which is from Everin Jones, who is an 80-year-old who was interviewed in Take Me to the River, Fishing, Swimming, and Dreaming on the San Joaquin. We'd go out at night with a Coleman lantern. We'd go out at night with pitchforks called gigs. It was illegal to be out spearfishing, but never once were we caught by the feds. We'd float out a boat to the middle of the river, our eyes already adjusted to the moonlit gleam. There were only 3 thoughts in our minds at those moments: the fish, the stars, and the mighty San Joaquin. The lantern was never needed to guide us. The lantern was a weapon more deadly than spears. We masked the lights so it couldn't blind us, and shot rays at the water with refracting mirrors. Most days a salmon is a hell of a fighter. It can flit out of sight in the space of a breath. Our salmon gigged easy like thread through a needle. Like moths to a Coleman, they were dazzled to death. You could eat for a week on a Chinook salmon, 50 pounds of muscle and fat. The last salmon run was 1947. The Kirchhoff Dam put a stop to all that. Thanks.